Show starts in 5 minutes.
Good evening, folks, and a hearty welcome to our drive-in theater. We have a wonderful evening's entertainment lined up for you, one that will provide several hours of pleasurable relaxation and diversion for you and your family. Did you fail to dress up for tonight's show? No tie, an old shirt and slacks, a house dress? Well, don't give it a thought. We're glad you came as you are. We just want you to enjoy yourselves.
Here's a new taste treat. The corn dog. Plump, juicy wieners are dipped in a thick, golden, southern-style corn batter that seals in all their freshness and flavor. If you like hot dogs, you'll love corn dogs. Everybody does. Try a corn dog with your favorite beverage. At the refreshment corner now. Corn dogs.
It's 4 minutes till showtime.
Yum, yum. It's time for a tasty and refreshing snack. We promise to satisfy your hunger, your thirst, your sweet tooth. So visit our refreshment center now. Let's go!
It's 3 minutes till showtime.
Men, there's a drive-in movie full of juicy people. Wow! It's a trap! Help! It's Pick! We've had it, men.
A pleasant aroma for you, but not for mosquitoes. Pick is easy to use. Light it and forget it. Pick's aroma keeps mosquitoes, gnats, and sandflies away. Pick is the best protection for barbecues, fishing and camping trips, or just relaxing in the yard.
So if you don't want our company ever anywhere, just light Pick and see what I mean? Bye!
Pick is on sale at the refreshment stand now. Show starts in 2 minutes.
Today we're interviewing a stomach.
Hello there.
What is life like as a stomach?
Oh, boy, it was humdrum. I mean, until what's-his-name discovered Tony's Pizza.
Tony's Pizza?
Yeah, I was suffering from the pizza cravings until Tony's came along. Crispy crust and zesty sauces. Wow.
And so now... What's that?
Another pizza craving. Just thinking about Tony sets it off.
Oh, where are you going?
He's going to get a Tony's Pizza, and I follow him anywhere.
Does your stomach send you pizza craving signals? Oh, wow. Tony's, the Pizza Cravers Pizza.
There are words men live by, words of strength, of wisdom, and of peace. We urge you to find the spiritual comfort and guidance we all so greatly need by attending your place of worship regularly.
Show starts in 1 minute.
Yum, yum. It's a meal in itself. Our all-meat super dog. Enjoy one now.
And now, on with the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the movie quiz. I am your host, Chris Mann Nelson, and in just a minute, I am going to open the portal and we will embark together on a journey through 50 points of trivia questions, puzzles, all kinds of stuff. Tonight is game 1 of the final mini season of season 13. There are 3 games in this mini season, and then a championship. 4 games left in season 13, all leading up to our big champion. The final game will be on October 1st, and it is a championship, a 5th anniversary game, and the 150th movie quiz. But an important note: next week I have my in-person show, my in-person game. So this will be the only game that I have to do the 9:30 hustle for. Next week will be a 9:30 hustle. So it's 9:30 next week. The other 2 games on the 17th and the 1st will be regular time, 9 p.m. All right. I'll send reminders and all that stuff. Tonight's game is so it's like I was saying, it's the 5th anniversary coming up, and so tonight's game is not about necessarily 2020. There are some direct references to events of the year, but it's more inspired by it. It's more of a jumping off point for my free association writing style. All right, so let's jump in. Let's open that portal. There it goes. There it goes. The portal is open. And that means we can go into the movie theater. Let's head into the movie theater and kick it off with our first round. It's going to be a choose wisely round in the category of mask up. Mask up. All right, here we go. Question number 1. This round's all about just masks in movies. Question number 1. Ultimately finding its way to Stanley Ipkiss, the mask in The Mask was created by what mythological god according to the film? Loki, Anansi, Hermes, or Maui? Who made the mask from The Mask? There was a stretch when this first came out on VHS, 94, 95, where I literally watched this daily. I would watch The Mask daily. And then it hit a certain point where I was like, I don't really want to watch this anymore, but I've got this like Ripken like streak going of watching the frigging Mask nonstop. I got to keep it going. All right. So in The Mask, it's actually this bit of information I think is unveiled by Ben Stein. It's Loki. Loki created the mask from The Mask. 64% of teams got that one. Nice. All right, question number 2. Creepy masks are par for the course for the Purge universe's marauding hordes, chosen because it's seen as a time of cleansing, renewal, and rebirth. On what date did the new founding fathers of America set their annual cathartic violence fest? Does the Purge take place every year on March 21st, June 21st, September 21st, or December 21st? Once again, chosen because it's seen as a time of cleansing, renewal, and rebirth. On what date did the new founding fathers of America set their annual cathartic violence fest, The Purge? Canonically in The Purge films. How many are there now? I think there's 5 Purge films and a show. Alrighty. So yeah, it shows up in it's overnight. It starts at sundown, and then it's sundown to sunup, I think. And it starts on the spring equinox, March 21st. March 21st is when the Purge occurs. Okay, question number 3. Though his pal Benji gets to pose as the film's villain and Wolf Blitzer, what is the only Mission Impossible movie in which Ethan Hunt doesn't impersonate someone by wearing one of the IMF's signature masks? Is that Rogue Nation, Fallout, Dead Reckoning, or The Final Reckoning? Though his pal Benji gets to pose as the film's, that should have an apostrophe, my apologies, villain and Wolf Blitzer, what is the only Mission Impossible in which Ethan Hunt does not impersonate someone by wearing one of the IMF's signature masks? Yeah, I am also. That is very cool that you'll get to see Spinal Tap. I am cautiously optimistic about the new movie. All right, so this was pretty evenly split. Most people guessing Fallout, Final Reckoning, or Rogue Nation, but it is Fallout. Fallout is the one where Benji is Wolf Blitzer in the beginning, and yeah, there is. I had to dig deep for this one because there's like one super minimal mask pull in the new one, the Final Reckoning, where they're just like it's not fun at all. It's nothing. But Ethan doesn't wear a mask in Fallout. All right. Question number 4. Lon Chaney, Robert Englund, and Gerard Butler have all donned the half mask of the Phantom of the Opera on film. What is the scarred Parisian lurker's real name? Is his name Henrik, Frederick, Eric, or Derek? Lon Chaney, Robert Englund, and Gerard Butler have all donned the half mask of the Phantom of the Opera on film. What is the scarred Parisian lurker's real name? Forgive any typos. This week's game came together fast, so there might be mistakes. There might be some. Anytime I do it fast, that's when I have to. That's when I have to fix the mistakes that I make. We might end up with some no decimals can happen in this round because it's multiple choice, so it's very straightforward. All right, so the Phantom of the Opera. I don't know. I found this. I didn't know this before, and I just find this funny. His name is Eric. It's just like a guy. He's the Phantom of the Opera is just like a guy's name. It's just like your coworker, Eric. All right, Eric is the Phantom of the Opera. All right, we're halfway through round number 1. Here comes your... Well, let me make myself tinier here because you can't read that. In the first scene of Ridley Scott's Silence of the Lambs follow-up, Hannibal, we see that what has happened to Lecter's iconic anti-cannibalism mask? Was it taken and sold by former orderly Barney, worn by a new copycat killer, acquired at auction by the Smithsonian, or mysteriously delivered to Clarice Starling? In the beginning of the sequel, Hannibal, we find out what happened to Lecter's mask. What is that? Do they say Eric in the play? Do they ever call? Because I know I've seen Phantom, but it's Eric. You needed a cooler, more mysterious name. Interesting. This shows me a lot of people don't remember. This shows me that a lot of people don't remember Hannibal because the correct answer was the least selected here. It's Barney. Barney, what is his name? Frankie Faison, who was in The Wire. He takes it from the hospital and he sells it to Gary Oldman, who was all chewed up he was chewed up by Hannibal Lecter, and then he wants to chew Hannibal Lecter up. He's feed him to pigs. That movie's fucking weird. All right, the granddaddy of masked vigilantes, Zorro, primarily fights for villagers and indigenous natives in what would become which modern U.S. states? New Mexico, Arizona, Texas, California. Where is Zorro? It's before any of these. All the Zorro stories take place before any of these were states. I think it's before any of them were states, but certainly before the one where he is. All righty. So no more time there. Zorro, Don Diego. I forget what his last name is. He fights for people in California. What would become California? He's actually in Pueblo, Los Angeles. He's a He's an LA guy, which makes sense. He's rich. All right, we got 2 more questions left in this round. Performing almost exclusively behind a Guy Fawkes mask, what Australian actor played the titular anti-fascist insurgent in V for Vendetta? Was that Hugo Weaving, Heath Ledger, Hugh Jackman, or Guy Pearce? Once again, performing almost exclusively behind a Guy Fawkes mask, what Australian actor played the titular anti-fascist insurgent in V for Vendetta? Australian actors' names mostly start with H. And look at the one guy who's not an H guy starts with a G, which is a neighbor of H. His parents wanted to be different, but not that different. All right, so V is played by Hugo Weaving. Hugo Weaving. And as far as I can tell, he did the physical performance, not just the voice. All right, and our final question of round number 1, question number 8. Counting crossovers and streaming films, the upcoming Predator Badlands will be what numbered live-action film to feature the masked ugly mother effers? Will that be the just counting live-action ones? But crossovers and streaming films count. Will it be the 6th, 7th, 8th, or 9th Predator films? I'll give you a second to do the mental math of how many Predators there have been. All right, now we start that timer. There is one animated film that came out this year, last year, very recently. Predator Killer of Killers by the same guy who's he's like in charge of the Predator now. He made the last one and the newest one. All right, so there's Predator, Predator 2, Alien versus Predator, the other Alien versus Predator, Predators. It's the worst. It's the most uncreatively named series. The Predator, Prey, and Predator Badlands will be the eighth live action Predator movie. Will be Predator Badlands. Alrighty, so let's take a look at our scores and standings here. After one round, we've got Stroke of Genius with 2. With 3, we got Gem Turtles, Open the Portal, Trivia Rocks, and Chris the Curator. We got a lot of 4s. Stallone starting pre-K tomorrow, Avis and Bobo, Sterling Cooper, Luna Tunes, Helsinki, and Old Men Screaming. We got his HSS, from a reference to Peacemaker season 1. And Jay's Rule, Yankees Drool with 7, and Marley's Chains leading the way with 8. All right, so that brings us to our picture round. So another big part of the 2020 landscape was a renewed sense of activism, a lot of protesting, and just general activism was reignited. So this picture round is all about documentaries about people who are considered activists in one way or another. And so I'm going to show you the movie poster, and you name the person who is the subject of that film. All right. So some of them I've blurred their faces if they're very recognizable. Some of them, or I've cut out their faces, I should say. But tell me who is the subject of all of these documentaries. Alrighty, so you've got 4 minutes on the clock starting now. Don't forget that order counts for these, and don't forget to hit submit. Good luck, everybody. You got about half your time left, a little more than 2 minutes on the clock. Okay, you got just over a minute left, so I'm going to hang out down here in the corner. Lurking. About 30 seconds left. All right, here we go. Timer has begun. Alrighty. That is your time for this round. So you had these 10 people who have, they're either known for their activism or they're known for something else, but their activism in one field is covered in the documentary. So your first one is a civil rights activist. Your second one is a climate activist. Your third one, it is a group, and they were anti-Bush, anti-Iraq war, anti-Bush regime in general. Number 4 is an anti-Putin person who anti-Putin martyr, really, sadly. Your fifth one is an advocate for disabled persons' rights and better research for paralysis. Number 6 is anti-Chinese Communist government. Number 7, leaked information about the CIA and things that were going on in the government. And the 8th one was involved in activism for the gay community in the 70s and 80s. And their names are John Lewis, Greta Thunberg, the Dixie Chicks, Alexei Navalny, Christopher Reeve, Ai Weiwei, Edward Snowden, and Nan Golden. All right, so those are the documentaries are Good Trouble, I Am Greta, Shut Up and Sing, Navalny, Super/Man, Ai Weiwei, Never Sorry, Citizen 4, and All the Beauty and the Bloodshed. All right, so let's roll it straight into our lightning round. Our lightning round, 4 quick points. All right, so another thing that happened in 2020 is we thought that we got rid of a villain. We thought we got rid of a super villain in real life, only for them to come back later, 4 years later. So this round is all about villains who we thought we beat, but would not fucking die. All right, here we go. Here is, oh, wait. What am I doing? There we go. Here it is. Okay, so here's your question. What did the following seemingly vanquished wicked wizards transfer their essences or their souls or whatever the hell you want to say into in order to resurrect themselves? You've got Emperor Palpatine, Lord Voldemort, and Sauron. And for your fourth your fourth part of this, what tome did the evil Egyptian priest Imhotep use to resurrect himself multiple times? So each of those first three wizardly guys put the brains, their souls into something. And what are those things? And what tome did Imhotep use to come back from the dead? A couple times. All right, I'm going to give you 90 seconds for this one. Clock starts now. Best of luck, friends. All right, gang, I'm going to start that 20-second timer, or the 15-second timer, excuse me. So if you haven't submitted or you want to change any of your answers, now is the time to do so. Here we go. All right. I just have to regrade a couple of these because they're right, but they're phrased differently than I wrote it, so it didn't. I'm gonna accept that. I'm just checking them. Time is up, but I'm just checking these. Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud on some of these. All right. You know what? I'll think out loud after I give you the answers here. All right. So Palpatine put himself into a clone, or it's fucking stupid. Voldemort, yeah, just Horcruxes was what I'm looking for. But yeah, if you put like Harry Potter or something, one of the specific Horcruxes, that's fine too. Sauron, of course, put himself into the One Ring. And what's his face? Good guess that Imhotep used the Scorpion King to bring himself back, but no, it was the Book of the Dead. The Book of the Dead. All right, so I think I've given everyone their points, but if you think that you should have gotten something that I missed, like a Horcrux that I didn't give you credit for, let me know. All right, so now we got a new mini season, so we've got a whole new set of double downs to be done. All right, so if you're feeling good about tonight, let me know if you want to double your points for use tonight's game as your double points score for the season. All right, I'm going to start the timer. Let me know what you want to do. All right, let's see who's going for it. Anybody biting? Okay, a lot of teams opening the portal. Everyone else is half and half. 5 yes, 5 no for tonight. All right, so let's. I will. Hang on. Let me check. Yeah, before we go too far, let me just check anybody who's got something that I might have missed. Sauron. Oh yeah, sure. Why did it not take rings plural? There it is. Yes, he did. There we go. It's for some reason the S threw it off. I I don't know why. All right, so that's good. And I audit these before I post the scores. So and scroll, sure, I will take I will give you Scroll of the Dead. Alrighty. Those are updated. All right, so that brings us to our puzzle round tonight. It's not going to be like a super hard puzzle round. I know you're sad about that. It's going to be pretty easy, but I think fun. So it's called Fake 2020 Meet Real 2020, and what it's all about is I am going to describe in the first half of the clue. I am going to describe a movie that's from before 2020 where 2020 is where the movie takes place, or where it's all disaster movies and like bleak futures, but not the actual bleak 2020 that we got. So I'll describe the movie straight up and then kind of work in a real thing that happened from 2020 and how people would have really reacted, apparently, had that 2020 happened to us based on the 2020 that did. It'll make sense when we see it. All right, so here we go. Here's your just name. So you're just naming the movie for these. Okay, we're just naming the movie. Question number 1: brave pilots put their lives on the line to battle enormous monsters that arise from the sea using giant Jaeger robots. Unfortunately, the combat machines have no toilet paper on board because some a-holes cleared out all the stores once the kaijus showed up. So what movie is a combination of fake 2020 and real 2020? And this movie takes place. All these movies either take place or the inciting alien invasion or kaiju happens in 2020. So brave pilots put their lives on the line to battle enormous monsters that arise from the sea using giant Jaeger robots. Unfortunately, the combat machines have no toilet paper on board because everyone cleared out the toilet paper from the stores. All right, so for this one, some teams guessed Godzilla, various Godzilla movies, which is fair enough. But there's no the Jaeger is your clue for this specific movie, which is Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim is the one where there are Jaeger robots, and it takes place in 2020. All right, your next 2020 movie. After vicious aliens land on Earth, it's quickly deduced that you must stay silent to not attract their attention. But free-thinking, freedom-loving patriots refuse to cover their loud mouths, resulting in countless deaths. Once again, after vicious aliens land on Earth, it's quickly deduced that you must stay silent to not attract their attention. But free-thinking, freedom-loving patriots refuse to cover their loud mouths, resulting in countless deaths. Oh, I just showed you the answer. Why? How did that happen? Well, whatever. I think you would have got it. It was an easy one anyway. I'll just take it out of here. How did I do that? That was silly. Yes. So if there's confusion about how the round works, yes, I am. Hang on. Yes, I can't. I'm not going to sing them anymore. But I mean, maybe in the future. But yes, you are just supposed to name the movie. So the first half of the question is just a description of the movie that was a prediction of 2020. And then, yes, I'm incorporating elements of real 2020 into the plot of. I'm rewriting the movie retroactively, so to speak. All right, so this movie is Pacific Rim. Pacific Rim. I'm behind on that one. It's A Quiet Place. A Quiet Place is your answer for this one. All right, let's hope I don't give any more answers away in the image. All right, tunnel workers in London. Tunnel workers in London accidentally reawaken a dormant race of fire-breathing beasts. The ancient monsters quickly become the world's dominant species after the U.S. president downplays the threat, claiming they will disappear within a few weeks. So in this one's a bit of a it's fuzzy because the movie takes place in 2020, but the beasts actually awaken in 2002. Full disclosure on this one. All right. Tunnel workers in London accidentally reawaken a dormant race of fire-breathing beasts. The ancient monsters quickly become the world's dominant species after the U.S. president downplays the threat. Although that's the real thing that happened, but that does happen in movies too. I feel like this movie's come up a few times. Yeah, I've definitely mentioned this movie this season, I think. All right, so this movie that takes place in 2020, they awakened dragons and had Trump been the president, I'm sure we certainly would have been scorched. It's Reign of Fire. Reign of Fire is your answer. All right, question number 4. A cowardly military officer enters a time loop during an alien invasion, waking up at the same moment every time he's killed. Unfortunately, it means he has to keep watching Gal Gadot's cringy Imagine video dedicated to victims of the extraterrestrials. Once again, a cowardly military officer enters a time loop during an alien invasion, waking up at the same moment every time he's killed. Unfortunately, it means he has to keep watching Gal Gadot's cringy Imagine video dedicated to the victims of the extraterrestrials. All right, so this movie, it's our second Tom Cruise of the night, but probably it's not our last. I'll tell you that. It's Edge of Tomorrow, Live, Die, Repeat, whatever you want to call it. I don't know why there are so many titles for this film. It's also based on a book called All You Need Is Kill. So there are 3 titles spread across this one story. All right, your 5th one. Inmates vie for freedom in a lethal televised automobile competition. A growing wave of civil rights awareness results in drivers with offensive Native American handles to finally change their names. Once again, inmates vie for freedom in a lethal televised automobile competition. A growing wave of civil rights awareness results in drivers with offensive Native American handles finally changing their names. Which in real life that happened. The Guardians and the Commanders no longer using Indians and Redskins. Because I tried to see if in this movie there were actually, because like it's a remake from, and this movie itself is from like 2008, so I felt like there might be, but there weren't any actual offensive. But you know that in the world of this, there certainly would have been some offensive names, I'm sure. All right, so this movie is Death Race. Death Race is this one. Death Race 2000. If you put that too, that's fine. It's actually Death Race the movie, the one that's just called Death Race, the remake, because Death Race 2000 takes place in 2000. But that's fine. All right, question number 6. When human combat sports are outlawed, people start watching robots duke it out, but all bouts are abruptly suspended when mechanical pugilists start testing positive for a computer virus. This one was based on my memory of the NBA game shutting down during COVID. I don't know if anyone was watching that game. And then I was just talking to Alex about this because this reminded me of this memory of like, okay, this is real. They just like cleared out the entire arena. All righty. So this is the robot boxing movie with Hugh Jackman. It's Real Steel, based on a Richard Matheson story. which I think might have also been turned into a Twilight Zone episode. Very different than this, though. All right, question number 7. Astronauts find a mysterious structure on the surface of the red planet where they learn the origins of humanity. And then on Earth, QAnon YouTubers post countless videos proving that the building is home to secret Martian perverts and Hillary Clinton. Once again, astronauts find a mysterious structure on the surface of the red planet where they learn the origins of humanity. QAnon YouTubers post countless videos proving that the building is a home to secret Martian perverts and Hillary Clinton. So what is that movie that I'm describing in the first half? This is the hardest one to remember. This one kind of flew under the radar. I think I saw this in theaters. This one is a guilty pleasure, the Mars one. This one was wild. This one was the only time that Brian. This is Real Steel. Real Steel was the guilty pleasure. You know, I don't think I've ever actually seen it. But this one is it's a Brian De Palma movie that he made for Disney. It's sort of loosely based on their Mission to Mars ride. It's not as like direct as Pirates of the Caribbean or Jungle Cruise, but it is sort of in that camp. All right, your final question of the round. Be specific naming this movie, because the series will be obvious, but be specific when you name the film. Okay. In yet another attempt to reset the long-running franchise's continuity, a new protector named Grace comes from the future to warn of a new Judgment Day. Slacktivist Instagram users post chrome squares to honor the victims of robotic murder machines. Once again, in yet another attempt to reset the long-running franchise's continuity, a new protector named Grace comes from the future to warn of a new Judgment Day. So that's specific to this entry in this franchise. So please be specific. And then the real 2020 thing is people on Instagram post chrome squares to honor the victims of robotic murder machines. You know, I don't think I've seen Real Steel. Did I say that already? Was it good? You say it's a guilty pleasure, but alrighty. So this is obviously, I'm talking about a Terminator movie, right? And a good, probably about half teams got this one right. It's the most recent one. It's Terminator Dark Fate. Dark Fate is the movie. All right, so that's the end of the puzzle round. I don't think I read scores before, so let's do that. We've got Stroke of Genius, Open the Portal, Trivia Rocks, and Old Men Screaming with 8, Looney Tunes with 10, Stallone with 12, Chris the Curator with 15, Gem Turtles with 16, Sterling Cooper with 17, Avis and Bobo 18, with 21 apiece. We got Han Still Solo and Jay's Rule. With 22, we got Helsinki, and with 25, we got Marley's Chains. All right, so that brings us to our double points round, and it's inspired by something that we all had to endure, which is being stuck inside. Stuck inside is this one. It's all about chamber piece movies that take place almost exclusively in one location. So this is Two Truths and a Lie style. There's all multiple choice. There's two correct answers, but one false one that will knock you out to 0. Sort of bottle episodes, but the movie equivalent. Did I not get the last score in? Did I do it again? Did I do the regular? I did that thing again. Yeah, I did the thing. So if you got that one, you've got Terminator right, add 1 to the score. It should update now. I did the thing that I always do. All right, so here we go. Now it's actually time for Stuck Inside. Here we go. Question number 1. In addition to snowy isolation, what elements from John Carpenter's The Thing did Quentin Tarantino borrow for his similarly paranoid and claustrophobic film, The Hateful Eight? Your options are an opening scene involving a loose dog, Kurt Russell, and a score by Ennio Morricone. In addition to the snowy isolation, what elements from The Thing did Tarantino incorporate into The Hateful Eight? All right. So for this one, I think everybody successfully picked Kurt Russell. Of course, he's in both. But then there was pretty evenly split for the other two between the Loose Dog and Morricone. And it's Morricone. In fact, he lifted some unused tracks from The Thing, and then Morricone also did some new stuff. There's the opening of Hateful Eight is it's just a horse-drawn wagon. All right. Question number 2. In what pair of cramped locations does Jodie Foster fight to keep her daughter safe in movies from 2002 and 2005? Your options are a commercial airliner, a high-speed train, a fortified chamber in her house. In what pair of cramped locations does Jodie Foster fight to keep her daughter safe? 2 different daughters, not the same daughter, in movies from 2002 and 2005. Strange how similar patterns emerge in movies. That's true. I did not do that. I didn't do decimals. I didn't make the decimals happen. You know what? Maybe for the 150th for the finale, I'll definitely I'll make some intentional decimals so that it's part of it, because it's very important. So in the movies, Panic Room, of course, is one of these, the Fortified Chamber, and the other one is Flight Plan, the loose remake of The Lady Vanishes. And so it's Fortified Chamber and Commercial Airliner. Almost everybody got that. Nice. All right. Question number 3. Which 2 of these single location Hitchcock movies starred Jimmy Stewart? Your options are Rear Window, Rope, and Lifeboat. Which 2 of these single location Hitchcock movies starred Jimmy Stewart? Jimmy. Or James, if you're feeling formal about it. He was an affable guy. I feel like he would have been fine being called Jimmy by someone who didn't know him. All right. So, pardon me. Everybody chose Rear Window. Of course, that is one of them. And the other one is from a few years before that, 6 or 7 years before, and it's Rope. Rope was Hitchcock's experiment. He tried to make it, did super long takes, would do like cuts, would hide the cuts with like the camera dollying behind something that blacked it out. It's a fun movie. All right, question number 4. The 5 students stuck together in Saturday detention in the Breakfast Club end the film as unlikely friends, describing themselves as the brain, the princess, the athlete, and which 2 other archetypes? The class clown, the basket case, the criminal are your options. So in the Breakfast Club, these students stuck together in Saturday detention describe themselves as the brain, the princess, the athlete, and which other 2? All right. Everybody did real solidly on that. It is the basket case and the criminal, Ali Sheedy and Chud Nelson. are those two. All right, we're halfway through our double points round, barreling ahead towards the end of the game. Question number 5. Dante and Randall briefly escape the fluorescent lit trap of their video and convenience store job to what 2 locations in the original Clerks? They get out twice, and your options are up on the roof, a funeral home, a hospital. Looks like some people playing it safe on this one. There is one, if you know the movie at all, there's one fairly iconic scene. And that iconic scene is them going up on the roof to play hockey. They go up there to play hockey because Dante's not supposed to be there today. He got a hockey game planned. But they also go to the wake of Julie Dwyer, who's in her death is part of Mallrats. All the movies are interconnected. Oh yeah, you can choose. Yeah, you can choose 2, but if you choose the wrong one, it nullifies your other one. So you can choose to either way you want to do it. All right, question number 6. Who were the killers in the first 2 endings in Clue before the here's what really happened climax, where it's revealed that everyone shut in the mansion except for Mr. Green committed 1 murder? So Clue famously has 3 endings. One of each of them was shipped with different prints to different theaters, so they would have different outcomes like the game, but they're all on home video. They're all together. In the first 2, who were the killers? Miss Scarlet, Colonel Mustard, Mrs. Peacock. In the final ending, they're all killers except Mr. Green, but in the other 2 endings, there's 1 killer. All right. So in the first 2 endings of Clue, the killers are Miss Scarlet and Mrs. Peacock. Miss Scarlet and Mrs. Peacock. All right. We got 2 more of these double points. Here comes question number 7. Which 2 of these tense chamber pieces feature a sequence where one single character briefly ventures out of the setting where they're confined? All these numbered titles: 10 Cloverfield Lane, 12 Angry Men, Assault on Precinct 13. So 2 of these have a sequence. They're all chamber pieces where they're pretty much all in one location, but there's one character who briefly leaves in which 2 of these. We get a little glimpse of the outside world in but just from one character. One single character goes outside. All right. So in 10 Cloverfield Lane, which is one of the answers, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's character gets out in the end, but it's just her that gets out. And there's one sequence where you see Henry Fonda, right? Yeah, Henry Fonda is the eldest Fonda. He goes out and he struts around and gets a knife to prove that the murder weapon couldn't have been the right one. All right, and question number 8. Stephen King adaptations The Mist and Gerald's Game have characters who have to survive in which 2 locations? Your options are apartment building, supermarket, bedroom. Stephen King adaptations The Mist and Gerald's Game have characters who have to survive in which 2 locations? All right. So The Mist takes place in a supermarket in Maine. They're trapped in a supermarket in Maine. And in Gerald's game, Carla Gugino's character is trapped in her bedroom. So supermarket and bedroom are your answers. All right. So all that's left ahead of us now is the post-credits blitz. So let's take a look at our standings before we blitz. We've got Stroke of Genius with 13, Trivia Rocks with 15, Open the Portal and Looney Tunes with 16, Old Men Screaming with 18, Stallone starting pre-K with 19, Gem Turtles and Chris the Curator with 28, Jay's Rule and Sterling Cooper with 31, Avis and Bobo 32, Han Still Solo and Helsinki with 35, and Marley's Chains leading the way with 37. All right, so that brings us to the post-credits blitz. The way this works, it seems like we've got some new TMQers tonight, which is awesome. Welcome. But it also means I should be explaining the rules better. So for this round, there's 3 pairs of questions, and one is worth 1 point. In each pair, there's a question worth 1 point, and there's a question worth 2 points. There's one that I deem a little easier and a little harder, and your mileage may vary on that, but you don't answer both. You just answer whichever one you choose to answer. All right. So here we go. Here is your first pair of questions in our post-credits blitz. For 1 point, what marine species was Tillicum, the subject of the activist documentary Blackfish? Or for 2 points, what was the HIV/AIDS activist group co-founded by Larry Kramer? That's the subject of the doc, How to Survive a Plague. Once again, what marine species was Tillicum, the subject of the activist documentary Blackfish? Or for 2 points, what was the HIV/AIDS activist group co-founded by Larry Kramer? That's the subject of the doc, How to Survive a Plague. All right. So Blackfish actually resulted in SeaWorld ceasing to keep orcas and or also killer whales, you could call them, in captivity. And How to Survive a Plague predominantly features ACT UP. ACT UP is the name of that organization. All right. Question number or pair number 2. For 1 point, what incident? I told you we're not done with crews. More crews and masks. Here they come. What incident results in Tom Cruise's character wearing a freaky mask in Vanilla Sky? Or for 2 points, what is the password that gets Tom Cruise's character into the freaky masked orgy in Eyes Wide Shut? So for 1 point, what is the incident that results in Tom Cruise's character wearing a freaky mask in Vanilla Sky? Or for 2 points, what is the password for the freaky masked orgy? The weirdest weirdest sequence. All the reversed like chanting in that scene. So weird. So very weird. All right. So I took a couple of different ways to describe the event in Vanilla Sky. I'm looking for a car accident, car wreck. It was also the Cameron Diaz's character trying to do a murder suicide on them. And Fidelio is the password to the orgy. All right. And our final questions of tonight's game. For 1 point, what country is the setting for the claustrophobic Tom Hardy Alone in a Car drama Lock? Or for 2 points, what country is the setting for the claustrophobic Ryan Reynolds Alone in a Coffin thriller Buried? Once again, for 1 point, what country is the setting for the claustrophobic Tom Hardy Alone in a Car drama Lock? Or for 2 points, what country is the setting for the claustrophobic Ryan Reynolds Alone in a Coffin thriller Buried? I'm pleasantly surprised at how many people got the Buried question. I thought that would be trickier than it was, but a lot of teams got it. Lock takes place in England, the UK, however you want to phrase that. And he's buried in Iraq. He is buried in Iraq. All right, so that brings us to the end. That's the end of tonight's game. Well done, well played. I will check out all the scores and update it, and I won't wait till like weeks later to update them this time, I promise. Congrats to Helsinki Syndrome, by the way, who got the Yaddle card for the previous mini season. Well, let's take a look at our scores and let's see our final scores for the night. We've got Stroke of Genius with 13, Trivia Rocks and Lunatunes with 16, Open the Portal and Old Men Screaming with 21, Stallone with 23, Chris the Curator 32, Gem Turtles with 34, Jay's Rule and Sterling Cooper with 35, Avis and Bobo 36, Han Still Solo and Helsinki Syndrome with 40, and Marley's Chains finishing out with 42. All right. Congrats to Marley's Chains. Good win. Good start to this latest mini season, this new section of season 13. So remember next week, gang, 9:30 start next week. I will do my best. If I can get back here a little earlier, I'll try to do it as promptly as possible. And I'll include lots of multiple choice to keep the game speedy. Kept it pretty speedy tonight. All right. So, 9:30 next week. Come back. Let's play some more. I will announce the theme in the next couple days, and I'll see you in 1 week. Good night, everybody. McClunky.